The cardboard box in Noah Carter's trembling hands held everything he had left from 5 years of loyal service: a framed photo of his 8-year-old son, a coffee mug that read "World's Best Dad," 2 notebooks, and a tiny plant his son had insisted would bring him luck. The heavy glass doors of the corporate headquarters closed behind him with a cold thud that sounded like the end of his life as he knew it. Inside the building, several co-workers stood near the entrance laughing and pointing in his direction, believing they had finally gotten rid of the quiet single father who had always worked harder than anyone else. Noah stared at his phone, took one deep breath, and made a single phone call. Less than 10 minutes later, security guards rushed back inside the building. Before the hour was over, every manager who had celebrated Noah's dismissal was carrying their own cardboard boxes out the same front doors. Before we continue this emotional journey, if you believe kindness, honesty, and second chances still matter in today's world, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel for more unforgettable stories that remind us why compassion always wins. Noah had never imagined life would become so difficult. 3 years earlier, his wife Grace had lost her battle with a sudden illness, leaving him to raise their young son Mason alone in Columbus, Ohio. Every morning began before sunrise as Noah prepared breakfast, packed lunches, helped Mason get ready for school, and rushed to work before anyone noticed he was exhausted. Every evening he hurried back home to cook dinner, help with homework, wash clothes, and somehow convince his son that everything would be okay, even when Noah wasn't sure himself. He lived paycheck to paycheck, but he never complained because Mason deserved a father who never gave up. At Harper Financial Group, Noah had earned a reputation for solving impossible problems without asking for recognition. While other employees chased promotions and office politics, Noah quietly stayed late, corrected expensive mistakes, and often helped coworkers complete projects they couldn't finish themselves. Unfortunately, people like Noah often become easy targets for ambitious managers who take credit for someone else's hard work. The company's regional director, Victor Hayes, cared far more about appearances than integrity. His closest supervisors admired employees who flattered them rather than those who actually delivered results. Noah refused to play office games. He believed honesty would eventually speak louder than manipulation. Instead, it made him increasingly isolated. Everything changed when the company began preparing for a massive merger that promised millions of dollars in new contracts. Noah discovered serious accounting irregularities that could create legal disasters if ignored. Being responsible, he documented every mistake and quietly submitted a detailed report to his department head. Rather than thanking him, management viewed Noah as a threat. Correcting those records would expose months of negligence by senior executives who had deliberately hidden financial problems. Within days, rumors spread through the office that Noah had become unreliable. Tiny mistakes that everyone else regularly made suddenly became evidence of poor performance whenever Noah made them. Meetings happened without inviting him. Important emails mysteriously disappeared before reaching his inbox. Co-workers who once depended on his help now avoided eye contact in the hallway. The final blow arrived on a rainy Thursday afternoon. Noah was summoned into a conference room where human resources waited with prepared documents. He was informed that his employment was being terminated due to performance concerns and failure to support organizational objectives. The words sounded rehearsed, empty, and cruel. 5 years of dedication disappeared in less than 10 minutes. As Noah walked toward the parking lot carrying his small box, his mind wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking about Mason's asthma medication, next month's rent, school supplies, and the promise he had made to never let his son feel abandoned. His heart felt heavier than the box in his arms. Then he remembered something almost everyone at Harper Financial Group had forgotten. Before joining the company, Noah had spent nearly a decade working as a senior compliance investigator for a respected consulting firm. During those years, he had built professional relationships with corporate boards, independent auditors, and regulatory advisors across the country. He never mentioned his past because he believed people should judge him by who he was now, not by old titles. Among those professional contacts was Margaret Sullivan, the independent chairwoman representing Harper Financial Group's largest investment partner. Months earlier, Margaret had privately asked Noah to contact her immediately if he ever witnessed anything that threatened the company's integrity. Noah had politely hoped he would never need to make that call. Standing outside the building, he finally dialed her number. He calmly explained everything, including the documented financial irregularities, the retaliation, and the suspicious circumstances surrounding his dismissal. More importantly, he told her exactly where backup copies of every report had been securely stored before management could erase them. Margaret listened without interrupting. She thanked Noah for remaining professional despite everything that had happened, and promised only one thing: she would handle it personally. Within minutes, several black SUVs entered the company parking lot. Employees who had mocked Noah from the front steps watched in confusion as members of the board of directors, external auditors, and legal investigators walked directly into the executive offices. The atmosphere inside the building transformed almost instantly. Computer systems were locked. Financial records were secured. Executives who had confidently ordered Noah's dismissal were suddenly being questioned individually. Every deleted email, altered report, and hidden document began resurfacing through backup systems that management never realized existed. By late afternoon, Victor Hayes and multiple senior supervisors were terminated for misconduct, retaliation, and intentionally concealing financial violations. Several others resigned before disciplinary hearings could begin. The celebration that had followed Noah's firing had become complete silence. Margaret called Noah later that evening. She apologized on behalf of the company and admitted that his integrity had probably saved Harper Financial Group from catastrophic legal consequences. The board unanimously voted to offer Noah complete reinstatement with full back pay, a substantial promotion, and authority to rebuild the compliance department independently. Noah surprised everyone by declining the promotion. Instead, he accepted only enough compensation to support his family while requesting a different role focused on improving ethical training for future employees. He explained that power had never interested him. Preventing another honest worker from experiencing the same injustice mattered far more. News of what happened quietly spread throughout Columbus's business community. People admired not the dramatic firings but Noah's remarkable humility. He never sought revenge. He simply told the truth and trusted the right people to protect what was right. Months later, Harper Financial Group looked completely different. New leadership emphasized transparency, accountability, and respect. Employees were encouraged to report concerns without fear. Performance was measured by character as much as results. At home, life slowly became brighter too. Noah finally had weekends free to attend Mason's baseball games. They laughed more often. Bills became less frightening. The tiny plant that had survived inside Noah's office was now growing happily on their apartment windowsill, reminding them both that even after the harshest storms, life finds a way to bloom again. One evening, Mason asked his father why he never seemed angry at the people who had hurt him. Noah smiled gently and explained that anger might satisfy someone for a moment, but integrity protects a person for a lifetime. The people who lied had already punished themselves long before they lost their jobs. Choosing honesty had allowed Noah to keep something far more valuable than any paycheck: his self-respect and his son's admiration. Years later, Mason would remember that lesson more clearly than any expensive gift or vacation. He learned that true strength isn't found in getting even. It's found in standing firm when doing the right thing feels impossible. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like the video, share it with friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and leave a heartfelt comment. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need hope today. Special request: before this story ends, please comment below. Integrity always wins. We'd love to know where you're watching from and whether you believe kindness still has the power to change lives. Sometimes life seems unbearably unfair. Good people lose jobs. Honest workers are betrayed. Single parents carry burdens no one else can see. Yet every act of integrity plants a seed that eventually grows into something extraordinary. Noah Carter didn't make one phone call because he wanted revenge. He made it because truth deserves a voice. And when truth finally arrived, It didn't simply restore one father's career. It reminded an entire company that titles, power, and influence mean nothing without honesty. In the end, Noah walked away with far more than a job. He walked away with dignity, hope, and the knowledge that his son had witnessed the greatest victory of all, the triumph of character over corruption.